So it's the morning of April 18th. Annie and I are drinking instant coffee and eating oatmeal out of a water bottle that we just made on our camp stove. And we're getting ready to start riding from our campsite there in Pisgah Forest. I was off to Boone, North Carolina, mostly along the Parkway, and Annie had a pretty big gravel ride planned. So she was doing a big gravel loop and ending at the car, and then later she would drive to meet me in Boone at the hotel that we were staying in. Here's the data from the ride that day. So you can see it took me 9.5 hours, 146 miles, and ended up with a TSS of around 376 and an average power of 172. It's at this point that I say bye to Annie. I continue up 276 to get here to the Parkway. She turned right on Yellow Gap to start her first big chunk of gravel that day. Here I am finally on the Parkway and heading towards Mount Pisgah. And the stretch here from around Mount Pisgah to the bottom of Craggy Gardens is a little uneventful, very fast. You get some good descending and just really fast riding. This was my first stop of the day. I stopped at the Folk Art Center, and thankfully they were open and they did have water, so I managed to fill up a bottle so that I would have a bit of water heading up to Craggy Gardens and Mount Mitchell, because I wasn't sure if anything was going to be open there. And it's a good thing I stopped, because Mitchell was actually closed at the concession stand. And then they also did not have any water on, I guess because it's still getting below freezing up there at this time of the year. Here I'd finally made it to Craggy Gardens. I pulled over at one of the overlooks and there was a really nice view. It was a really beautiful day, along with the clouds. There was some sunshine, plenty to look at, really good views down off the mountain. And overall, just a really good day to be on a bike. And here I finally make it to Mount Mitchell. I make a left and turn into the state park, which is part of North Carolina State Park system. On the sign up here at the bottom, you'll see that it's about 4 miles to the summit, and I think it's about 1,000 feet of elevation on the way up. Here we're kind of finally passing into the main gate. There's a restaurant. I don't know if it was open. I don't think it was. But really, after you pass that gate, at this point, you're about 2 miles from the summit, and here's where it kind of evens off. The bottom 2 miles, I think, are way steeper and harder riding, where here, a little more gradual, not as bad, and you can kind of enjoy the last 2 miles until you hit the summit. And here we are at the top. Normally at this spot, there's a sign telling you the elevation of Mount Mitchell. I guess due to COVID and it being a concern with people gathering there to take photos, They took the sign down, so no sign, but thankfully that also meant no groups of people, so I was able to stop, film a little video, take in the view, and enjoy myself before continuing off the mountain. The descent is really fast and really fun. Unfortunately, most likely you'll end up getting stuck behind a car at some point. I got stuck behind this NC State supporter in front of me at this point. And really, the speed limit's 25, but on a bike, of course, you're going way faster. But often people feel uncomfortable, they don't want to drive that fast, so you kind of get stuck descending. Definitely take a jacket with you. You will get cold on the descent, especially at this elevation. You can get pretty chilly pretty fast. It is this stretch kind of from somewhere at the top of Craggy Gardens to a little bit after Mount Mitchell that I personally think is one of the prettiest areas on the Parkway, especially in the south part of the Parkway. Just the tree coverage that's up there is really unique and pretty at this elevation. The views you get off of the side are really nice, and so this is definitely a really good stretch to just kind of enjoy yourself and take in the views. Here I arrive in Little Switzerland, and like I said, there was no concession stand open and no water at the top of Mitchell, so honestly at this point I was hurting a little, and I was so thankful that this little cafe down here was open. I managed to go in, get some snacks, get some water, and a very sugary coffee to help me push the last bit until reaching Boone. So I was a little bummed here. You can see the parkway was closed. I had to turn around and go back. Normally I would not do that. Most of the time when the parkway is closed, it essentially kind of becomes a greenway for cyclists. Tons of people take advantage of it. But as you can see on that sign there, it actually very specifically said parkway closed to pedestrians and bicycles. And at this point, I did not want to get in any kind of trouble or mess anything up. So I decided I'll turn around. And also, thankfully, here, I knew where I was, and I kind of knew what the roads would be like on the detour. And so that was a huge help, too, that I knew that it wouldn't really be that bad, and it was worth checking out the detour. And right here, made it back onto the parkway, passing this orchard on the right. I love this orchard because one, I've been there, it's a really nice place, it's fun to visit, and also for me, it's one of the first really big landmarks on the parkway that I recognize from riding from the Boone area. So I start to really understand where I'm at, get my bearings. I know about how far away Boone is, and I get pretty excited about the last part of the trip, and I know that I don't have much longer to ride. Especially at this point, I'm excited because I've been on the bike a lot, and I'm looking forward to eating some real food that's not a Cliff Bar. And here we go, we're super close. That's Grandfather Mountain on the left. There's a nice little overlook that's a view of Grandfather. And then here, we're finally at the base of Grandfather. Again, on the left, it's up there, and you can see 221 is an exit on the left here. You can take that to get to Grandfather Mountain, or you can go left on 221 after you exit. That'll take you to Blowing Rock. Super pretty road, but I did it last time I did this route, so this time I figured I was going to stay on the parkway all the way until I reached Boone. Here's arguably the most famous stretch of road, maybe on the Parkway, definitely on the Parkway in this area. This is the viaduct, which offers really good views looking down towards the Charlotte area. And so this was something I was really looking forward to on this little stretch of the trip. And so skipping ahead a little, here I am pulling onto the Greenway there in Boone, North Carolina. I really enjoyed this part of the trip because you hit the Greenway, there's going to be no traffic from cars, and I know exactly where I am, and I can just enjoy cruising home here on the Greenway. Right here, I've ridden onto the sidewalk to avoid getting stuck on the other side of that divider here on 421, heading into Boone. I'm about to make a left here, and you'll be able to see Boone Bike, where I used to work, and it's one of my favorite bike shops in the world. Unfortunately, I was here on a Sunday, so they were closed, and due to COVID, I don't think I would have gone in, but really fun to see that. And then finally, I'm staying in a hotel up behind Boone Bike, and we made it, and I was really looking forward to some pizza.